I'm back with more dating advice slash dating fails. Yes, I do know for a fact that love transcends space and time. Now I feel like I have to give back and share therapy advice for free. So I almost went to Mexico with a man this week. But you know what is really, really hot? When they can fix something. I'm looking for someone who has such an interest in me and everything that makes me me that they want to physically crawl up inside me. All right, guys, I'm about to go on a first date, which means it'll either go poorly and I'll never see him again, or it'll go good and then I'll see him for 1 to 3 months, act like a couple, and then never see him again. Dating has truly gotten to the point of so unserious for me, and just something to have a giggle with. So I'm supposed to be going on a date in 5 minutes. This guy I've been seeing all week. He's been like, we're gonna have like an all-day thing Saturday. We're gonna do brunch. It's gonna be so fun. Saturday, you're mine. And I was like, fun. I planned a cute outfit. I self-tanned to the gods. You know, I was like, okay, slay. Been seeing him for some time now. But he just texted me an hour before the date. I have to laugh so I don't crash out, saying that he fucked someone else last night and he would love to still see me if I'm open to it and talk about it. So I was just saying that I don't know how this keeps happening to me, that I like go out with men who do weird things to me.
Ma'am, maybe it's you. Maybe it's the kind of guy that you go after. Those chads that you go after have lots and lots of options. As you said in the previous video, he cheated on you.
A lot of people will not like that you have standards because they don't have any, okay? Let that sink in, because they can't relate. The amount of people who have asked me, like, why are you still single? And why aren't you dating anybody? Or, why don't you have a boyfriend? And my response to that now is, if they're not pretty much perfect, I don't feel the need to have one.
Okay, ma'am, but that doesn't mean that you have standards. Just because he's perfect, it doesn't mean that you know how to pick the right guy. Why are you single if you only pick the perfect guy? Why do they not commit to you? Why do they cheat on you, ma'am? If that's the perfect guy. No, ma'am, you think he's the perfect guy, but all women want those kinds of men, so he has a lot of options.
The wall, the wall, the wall. No man on earth can make it fall.
Are there any older men who like single moms in their 30s? Maybe want to show them a good time?
If you are still too nice to men, you have got to understand the liberation on the other side of just being a straight up bitch.
Most men who treat women like shit are secretly gay, but they don't have the balls to be in a relationship with a man.
Okay, guys, now just reverse the roles and think what would happen if I were to say that. But women can say everything they want on the internet.
I'm a strong, independent woman and I don't need no man. You're not going to tell me what to do. But there's this one man, and if he told me to get on my knees and bark like a dog, bitch, I'll be down there. Shake? Do you want me to spin around? Play dead?
Okay, guys, so what you can see from this video is if she doesn't trust you, if she nags you all the time, if she doesn't respect you, it's because you're not the one. Move on, guys, move on.
Ed, what's next?
We told men to step back, sit down, and be quiet. And now we wonder where all the good men went.
True.
Newsflash, they did exactly what a whole lot of women and angry feminists asked them to do. We confused toxic masculinity with masculinity itself. And now good men are standing down, afraid to lead, simply because they prefer to keep their peace.
Women are going to hate me for telling you this, but fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. If you're feeling suspicious about her friendship with a single guy, ask her this one question. There's this woman I met recently who I think would be perfect for insert name of her guy friend here. What would you think if we introduced them? If her reaction is excitement, green flag. But if it's anything else, run.
What is your type?
Honestly, like my type is someone who has been through things, but has overcome.
So your type is past prison sentences?
I do like prison dudes, not gonna lie.
This one's for my single ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
Someone would explain why on Tinder, Hinge, these dating apps. You match with somebody and they just don't fucking reply.
Because the guy that you matched with, ma'am, that you want him to write to you, that you like him a lot, he matched with 10 other women. That same day, ma'am, he has a lot of options because all women on those apps want those kinds of men. That's why he doesn't answer, ma'am, because he has better choices.
Like, I usually message first, hi, where you from, or what you're looking for. And either they give you the one-liner, yeah, I'm from such a place, or they just don't reply.
Yeah, because they don't need to have a personality. When you're good looking, that's why, guys, women, the better looking they are, the crazier they are. Why? Because nobody ever told them the truth in their life. They didn't have to develop a personality. Everything in their life just revolves around their looks. That's it.
Yeah, it says on their bio that they're looking for the one, no head fucks, no drama. What are you doing on Tinder then if you're just gonna not actively look for that person?
They just have game, ma'am. They can't tell you the truth. All women say, oh, I want to hear the truth. No, you don't. You want to be lied to, ma'am. That's why those guys put in their bio that they want a long relationship. They're looking for the one. But they're not actually doing that. They're just lying to you because they know women want to be lied to.
Me personally, I think some of these men were licking too many batteries as a child.
Of course. If somebody rejects me, it's not because of me. It's because of them. It's because of their past trauma. It's because of their past childhood. Of course, ma'am, of course. We're going to skip this video because it's clear she's very bitter.
1-900-9099-CRY. Have I missed the memo on something? Because this is the second date that I have had cancelled at last minute for the same excuse. Or the same reason, if it's legit.
Exactly the same thing I said in the previous video. Men like that have lots of options.
So he said that his mum's house got burgled last night and he's got to go and help her with stuff. And if that's legit, then like totally fair enough. But I just find it really weird. Is that like some sort of code that I'm not aware of? I don't know, it's really weird. But I'm not taking it personally because there was hardly any messages exchanged between us. It was just like a match and then like, let's meet up.
Okay, ma'am, if you don't take it personally, why did you make a video about it? You should have already forgotten about that event.
Sort of thing. So I don't think it's personal, but it's just annoying because I've got a full face of glam now. And all I'm going to be doing is going to walk the dogs on the common and grab a posh kebab.
I think a lot of women are looking for the click, the vibe, the butterflies, the spark, the chemistry, the tingles, magic, fireworks, whatever bullshit term you want to use. Let me ask the girls a question. If you don't feel the click with a guy pretty quickly, do you just not give that guy a chance? Like, I often hear women say the vibe has to be there. There has to be a click. There has to be spark, chemistry, electricity. Because I've heard women say, you've met a guy who, on paper, he's fantastic. Good looking, good job, treats you well, good personality, but he's just missing something. You just didn't feel this click or spark or connection.
It's like sexual tension.
I've still given that person a chance.
A lot of women don't give that guy a chance.
True.
And that's actually probably the good guy you should go for. It goes back.
Yeah. They don't understand that the guy that they have chemistry with, the vibe with, that's the player. That's the guy that has game, that knows exactly what to say, what to do, how to look in her eyes, to have that connection. He knows everything, what to do and what to say. Why? Because he has lots of practice. The good guy, the guy that women often omit, that's the guy that is maybe shy, maybe awkward, maybe he's not perfectly dressed, maybe he doesn't know everything, what to say perfectly right. And of course, she's going to say, oh, I didn't have any vibes with him. I didn't click. I didn't say any connections.
Back to you. You say you pick terrible men. You're attracted to bad boys and whatnot.
Unfortunately.
Okay, so the bad boys know exactly what to do. Why? Because they had lots and lots of interactions with women and they have practice.
That which exists in you, I think, exists in a lot of women. You want this sort of excitement. And a good guy can give you that, but I think it's a little bit harder. But the guys who are bad or toxic, they can definitely give you that.
A lot of women are complaining that men are no longer approaching them anymore. And as a man in that equation, I will have some valuable insight for you. For what I've researched, what I've gathered, from what I've asking other men, to what I see, to what I observe. Here is what men are hearing. Don't approach me in the gym, I'm there to work out. Don't approach me at my job, I'm there to work. Don't approach me in the supermarket, I'm there to shop. Don't approach me in the street, I'm trying to get home. Don't approach me in the club, I'm here with my friend just to have a good time. Don't approach me at single nights, at single events. I'm just here to support my friend. I'm just here to make friends with other single women. Where, how, and when then? You let us know.
Why is it always men who have to change and never women? How come no one ever says that women should have to change to impress men? I find this comment genuinely fascinating. Let's put aside the fact that men are the ones describing themselves as involuntarily celibate and whining about a male loneliness epidemic. What do you want women to change? Women are more attractive than men, on average. Look at this graph.
Okay, ma'am, so from the start, you show that you have low IQ. Why? Because men rate women like they should, on the bell curve. It's women that rate men not on the bell curve, not how it should be. Most women find most men unattractive. So just because you find most men unattractive, it doesn't mean anything, ma'am.
Men report being much more satisfied with their dating options than women are. And not only that, but women are also starting to catch up to men financially. So you probably don't even make more money than the beautiful woman you're trying to date. And then what happens when women do get into relationships with men? They do the majority of the cooking and cleaning, even when they're the breadwinner. So you want women to improve.
Ma'am, women don't go for men that make less money than them. So everything that she's trying to do here, guys, is just trying to frame women in such a good light. So they're the perfect ones, they're the more attractive ones, and we are the ugly species, the ones that don't do anything in a relationship, the ones that earn less than them. So of course we have to change.
Thank you, come again.
So apparently every girl's ex was toxic or abusive,
of course,
and she was perfect. You know, recent studies from the University of Delusion have confirmed that no woman has ever been the problem, all right? Like, I've never heard a girl say, yeah, it was me. You know, he tried really hard, but I gaslit him and keyed his car. Never. It's always he was insecure, he manipulated me, he didn't know how to handle a real woman. All right, that's fine. I don't even care. But listen, if you've had 11 boyfriends in 9 years and every single one of them had the same problem, at some point, just mathematically speaking, that just can't be true. Right? And I'm not saying he wasn't toxic. I'm just saying you weren't out here being Mary Magdalene either. All right? You smashed his windshield, changed your number, and then posted a TikTok like, you know, healing in silence. And now every time a guy asks for a basic respect, he's controlling. Every time he checks in, he's giving narcissist. It's wild how every ex becomes a villain as soon as you're done using them.
True.
More likely than not, sometimes he was the problem, sometimes you were the problem. And sometimes you all just need God and not a new boyfriend.
That can happen. Statistically, they're all perfect. We are the problem. We're always the problem.
Boyfriend.
Guys need to stop asking, what do you bring to the table? If your bed's on the floor. It doesn't matter if your bed's on the floor or not. You still shouldn't ask that.
I don't. Of course. How dare you ask me what do I bring to the table? Look at me. This is me. This is what I bring. I'm the table. That's what they say.
I don't care if you have a mansion. Don't ask me what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
Am I a waitress? I just suddenly see him in like a Disney princess dress. Like he's a bitch.
No, ma'am, it just shows that you're a Disney princess that thinks that just because you look a certain way, you shouldn't bring anything to the table.
No, let's say you're in a relationship with a man. He's bringing all the financial. You're bringing all the nurturing, caring side of things.
Right.
I like candles. I like the candles and the place smell good.
Yeah.
And I really don't like it because recently,
Okay, so why don't you just say that when a man asks you what do you bring to the table? What's so hard about it? They don't like the question, guys. How dare you? How dare you ask that question?
Ginger been lighting some stuff. And then I'm like, it smells really nice. Like, yeah, I lit the hood and I get angry because then I'm like, oh,
That's your job.
He doesn't need me.
Yeah. Oh
and
my
it's
God.
my insecurity because then I'm like, he doesn't actually need me, bruh.
Yeah, he's learning.
He doesn't need me.
Go to a man's house without a woman in it. That is your answer.
I agree. Nothing.
We are 10 times more simple. A bed on the floor, as you say, it's enough for most men. It's not enough for you, ma'am. That's why you come into a man's house and you start redecorating everything. It's not because of us. It's because of you. It's not enough for you.
People say to me all the time, well, I married this person, and when we got married, he had nothing, and he built his business while he was married to me. And I was very, there for him while he was building it. So therefore, I believe I'm entitled to half the value of that business. Now, that's a logical argument.
When I hear the word entitled, nobody is entitled to anything. It's exactly like the word deserve. No, nobody deserves anything. If you want something, you have to work for it.
I don't know that I agree with it, but it's logical. But keep going with that logic. So if that was true, and I built this business, and my wife, who was married to me while I was building that business, she helped make that. Okay, well, her mother and father helped make who she is. So I owe them something, right? Because if they hadn't done what they did, I wouldn't have her, and if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have my business. So how much do I owe them? And now that I think about it, her grandmother definitely influenced who her mother was, which influenced who she was, which influenced what she did for me. So just
don't worry about it, my guy, because most of the times her family does influence her to make her divorce you.
Can you let me know in advance how far down the chain do I owe people and how much do I owe them? They can't all get half. So did they get half of the half of the half? And if this is the logic that we're going to follow, then I would like to know in advance what that is, because there are no other transactions where if you went in to purchase a car and you said, how much is this car? And they said, money. And you said, well, how much? It's a good amount. Okay, again, we just keep talking in abstractions. I'd like to know, what does this add up to? How much is it?
Couple in the park, and they were walking down like the rock hill thing here, and the husband was walking down, and this kid is walking behind him. He's carrying nothing in his hands, and his wife is all the way behind him carrying a stroller by herself.
That's a play on words. She's not actually carrying the stroller. She's just pushing the stroller. Those are two different things, ma'am.
While her husband walks all the way in front of her with nothing in his hands. I almost said something.
Oh my God, Rachel, what a horrific scene that you had to witness. So Rachel, before you deleted a lot of the comments that were disagreeing you, because this is what most of them said before, now when you go and check them, there's a lot more comments that support the idea that she wants. So I'm going to steal a couple of the points that my fellow commenters said. And the number one is, it sounds like equality to me. I made a video recently of a woman asking, I wonder how sexism still exists right now. And I said, a lot of it's honestly because of women. A lot of women don't even realize it, but a lot of their opinions and views on relationships and other things are rooted in misogyny.
Of course.
And the patriarchy. This woman would have had no issue, wouldn't have batted an eye if she saw a man carrying a bunch of things and then the woman was over there just texting on her phone. Just said, oh, that's a man's job to go and be carrying a bunch of things. But on the opposite side of that, if a man said, I don't know what this woman was doing, he was over there preparing the food and she wasn't even cooking him anything. She's not a real woman. If you heard that, it would register to you, wow, what a sexist and misogynistic thing to say.
Yeah. They can say whatever they want on the internet, but we can say anything because we are called all kinds of stuff. Yep.
These same women that are over here priding themselves on walking and judging a random couple that's walking with their child, same women would be so upset if they applied for their dream job and the company said, listen, we saw a guy who had just as much qualifications as you, but he's a man, so he could take on, more burden of labor. You guys would be like, excuse me, what? But at the same time, what are you implying by saying, oh my God, she was carrying so much stuff and there was a man right there. That's his job to be carrying all.
They want equality only when it serves them. The rest of the time, they want superiority, not equality.
All those things. I just find it so crazy how girls don't realize the irony of how they just keep reinforcing the patriarchy by saying these kind of comments. Because what you're implying is that a girl doesn't deserve to be doing certain things because she's a woman. She gets extra benefits because of her gender. We're segregating the differences between men and women. So many women want to reap the benefits of equality in all of the scenarios where it benefits them to be equal, but then the moment they see something where it's like, oh, that's a little hard. That's a man's job. He should be working. He should be the one paying for the dates. He should be the one carrying all the stuff. Because she literally likes the one comment over here that was agreeing with her. These comments fabricating backstories for a man who carried nothing. Y'all the strongest soldiers for the patriarchy. I don't think either one of these two know what the word patriarchy means, because all that they're asking for is for you guys to treat men and women equally. And you saying that a man deserves to be carrying a bunch of stuff or inherently is supposed to be doing that shows that you don't view men and women as equal. You think men are supposed to be...
Nobody views men and women equally. We are not equal. But social media keeps pushing that we're equal, we're the same, of course.
Doing more laborious tasks than women solely because of their gender.
Let me ask you a question. Both of y'all, you saw a guy you like, right? Aesthetically. He looked the way you want him to look, 6 foot tall, he make a lot of money. On day one, he say, hey, look, I give you a better life, help you start a business, even get your body right. But you got to exercise almost every day. Let me see who your friends is. You got to cut off the people who I tell you to cut off. You got to stop hanging out and going out so much. Soon as he meets you, he tell you that. Would you want to be with him?
No.
Would you?
Of course not, because that's toxic. How dare you set any boundaries for me? How dare you?
Would you want to be with him?
I don't think so.
Which is crazy. That's a deeply rooted disdain for male leadership. Listen to this. After a breakup, what do? You start cutting off friends. I'm going to self-develop. I'm going to work out. I'm going to cut people off. I'm going to stop hanging out over here. This man can come in your life and tell you to do all that, and you like, nah, I wouldn't even deal. But when you're trying to level up and self-develop, those are all the things you do anyway. But you just said if a man came right in and gave you that infrastructure, said, I give you the life you want, said you had your business, said you had your body. Both of y'all was like, nah. But again, this is exactly the things y'all do when y'all are self-developing after a relationship. So why is it that a man coming in on day one with the same provision telling you to do the things that you say you do anyway when you self-develop? So
yeah, but you as a man, if you have boundaries and you say to a woman what she should do or shouldn't do, you're toxic. How dare you?
you know they're the right things to do. You know that's the right thing to do.